Hi everyone, welcome back to Dinner and Sugar. Today we are going to make Shirley Temple chocolate chip cookies. Look at my starting lineup. All these things must make something good. And that's why they're called Shirley Temple chocolate chip cookies, because of those cherries. So let's get started. So into the mixing bowl is 2 sticks of butter. Next, 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. And coconut oil is going to give a really nice flavor and really do a lot for the texture of these cookies. So let's put that in there too. If you don't have coconut oil, you can use Crisco. Okay, the next thing that goes into the bowl is 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And now we're going to put in 1 cup of white sugar. You can see that I changed the recipe up a little bit from most recipes because I found that this works best. So I don't know what I'm saying right there, but let's get to the mixing part. Okay, let's get the mixer started. There it goes. And I'm just looking to get these ingredients combined. I just want them creamed a little bit. I don't want them whipped with a lot of air in there because I don't want my cookies to be puffy. I just want them to be nice and dense. That's the way I like my cookies. And I think you'll like them too. Okay, let's look in the mixing bowl. Okay, there's our butter, sugar, and coconut oil. You see it's not really like creamed overly. You can still, okay, I guess I'm done with that. Okay, folks, the next thing that goes in is 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And I mix it in with the eggs and the sugar and the butter because I want them really well incorporated. I don't really sift my flour, so my flour is just going to go in, and I want those dry ingredients and those little small amounts really mixed in there well. So that's why I do that. Okay, so you're just going to bring together these ingredients. They don't need too much air whipped into them, and we're getting ready to put our flour in the mix. Let's just take a peek in the bowl. There we go. I'm just doing a little scrape down to make sure that everything gets incorporated. And again, I just want these ingredients to be combined. I don't want them overly mixed. The cookies don't really need to be overly mixed. It's not a cake, it's a cookie. So, don't spend too much time. A little scrape down and move on to the flour. Okay, this just looks really nice and I couldn't cut it out, but it's flour time. Okay, just like I promised, there is 2 1/3 cup of flour, and that goes right into the bowl to give a mix. And in a sec, we're just going to take a look to see how that is. Okay, the bowl's off. Okay, let's look in the bowl. There is our mix. The flour is nice and incorporated. No balls of flour, no pockets of flour. That's what you're looking for. Okay, here's the fun part, the Shirley Temple part. This is 1 10-ounce jar of maraschino cherries that are drained, and I'm just taking the cherries and giving them kind of a rough chop. Some of them I'm going to leave in half, and the others I'm going to cut into like thirds because I want them to be visible. I want everyone to know, are those maraschino cherries in these chocolate chip cookies? Well, they certainly are maraschino cherries in these chocolate chip cookies. These are Shirley Temple chocolate chip cookies. So continue to chop all those cherries so that everyone gets one in their cookie and nobody gets to fight. Okay, here's the fun part. Let's just scrape down the bowl a little bit, make sure there's no pockets of flour in there, and it is time for the full bag of semi-sweet chocolate chips to go in. And I mix this part by hand because when you use the paddle attachment or any kind of beater, it really beats up the chocolate chips, and I don't like that. I don't want my chocolate chips broken up. I need to really see my chocolate. So make sure you mix these in by hand. I think that you will really like the result. And after the chocolate chips comes the best part, the cherries, the maraschino cherries. Definitely the hero of the day. Okay, there's the cherries. And I'm just going to kind of grab them like that and sprinkle them around. And I'm just making sure that I really don't get that little bit of juice that pooled in the bottom, because even though I drained them, they still have a little juice. Last one. Okay, now very carefully, we are going to mix these cherries in. Okay, we're just folding these cherries in, and I really want them well incorporated so that nobody will be fighting for the cherries. This was quite a workout for your arm, but you know, it's really worth it. And these cookies also are just kind of cute because the juice does get in there a little bit and it turns the mix like this really nice pink color. And I don't know how you feel about maraschino cherries, but they're just a favorite. I really like them. A sundae is not complete without one. I could eat a sundae actually. And just look at the cherries. Make sure they're really well incorporated. And we want to see the cherries really well distributed. So let's take a quick look. Little close up. There we go. There's our close up. The cherries look really good nestled in there with the chocolate, and what a combination, cherries and chocolate. What more can you ask for in a cookie? We used the whole jar just like I promised. So there is a 1 tablespoon if you don't have a cookie scoop. So I'm just going to scoop these cookies. And today I'm cooking 24 cookies because we're a family of 5 and I don't want them to eat all 43 cookies in one day. That's how much it made total. So I have 2 pans and I lined the pans in parchment paper, and I really like parchment paper. It's a really good, easy cleanup, and I like the finish that it gives to the bottom of the cookie. Nothing gets stuck to it. There's not going to be any chocolate chips stuck to your tray. So in a second, we're going to switch out. And before I put the cookies into the oven, I'm just going to smash them down just a little bit so that they're like the Nestle cookies. You know, when you get the refrigerated cookies, they're kind of flattened out. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go into hyperspeed right now because I want to get these into the oven. And they're going to go into the oven on 375 for about 11 minutes. And you should switch the racks when you're halfway there. Okay, this is me switching the racks. There they are, looking very anemic. So just give the cookies a quick switch and they're about halfway through. That was a total of 7 minutes in the oven. Here at Dinner and Sugar, I really like to tell you the truth about baking. Baking is a lot of babysitting. So here I am, I'm checking the cookies after about another 3 minutes and they're still really puffy and doughy looking, but they're really close. This is the stage where the cookies can be burned. So you really need to stand by. I put the timer on 1 minute to check them, and just don't let the cookies burn. Okay, 1 batch of my cookies was ready. So I took them out of the pan and I just grabbed the parchment paper and pulled them out. And they are gonna cool down right on top of my island, which is nice and cool. And I moved those other. So in the time that took, my other batch was ready. So the other batch is coming. I promise it's coming. There we go. And just grab the parchment paper and pull the pan. And even though they do like kind of that little surfer move, the cookies really do maintain their shape. So now they're going to cool on this nice surface for a little bit before I talk about them a little bit. Okay, the cookies are ready. They're nice and cool. You can see that nice cherry sitting on top, and look underneath, none of the chocolate chips has stuck. So look, I'm plating up these cookies for Shirley Temple in her honor. I'm going to pretend like she's on set and she needs a snack. And I really do think that she would have approved of these cookies and maybe even have them with one of her drinks. The Shirley Temple drink, that is. So let's take a look inside the cookie. It breaks really nicely, and you can see a little chocolate. There we go, little chocolate, nice and melted. I've been munching on this cookie, and it's really good. The addition of those 3 tablespoons of coconut oil has made the texture really chewy and soft, and given that bakery buttery taste. So don't let the bakeries have all the fun. You can have fun in your own home too by just adding a little bit of extra butter or fat to your cookie batters. This was some sugar from Dinner and Sugar. Please subscribe to Dinner and Sugar. Thanks for watching.